I was watching my grandson's football game a couple of weeks ago, and something happened the very first play of the game that kind of set me on a trajectory of thought about where we are as a country and how we have gone about getting to where we are today. And the first play was really simple. They snapped the ball and they turned and gave it to a kid, and the whole sidelines lost their fucking mind. Everybody started screaming and yelling, and there was lots of elation in the air as the defense stood still and the offense ushered this kid into the end zone. And he scored uncontested. And initially I thought, wow, no defense whatsoever. This game's going to completely suck. But then I noticed what happened. The kid that ran the first touchdown, he was a special needs kid. Now, he was a special needs kid. He was mentally retarded. And so what they had done was he was basically the other team's mascot. And because they wanted to, give this guy a feeling of success and belonging, they made a play for him. And the defense agreed to let the guy walk in the end zone. And that's a common thing. I've seen that happen several times in my lifetime. And it's a commendable thing because the touchdown doesn't count. And if it does, it's usually in a game that's such a blowout one way or another that it's really inconsequential. It's more about what it does for the child more than anything else. And what that made me think about was this latest SJW bullshit with the first female to play in a Division I football game with one of the powerhouse schools with Vanderbilt. Now, I'm not taking away anything from this young lady who's done this. The school allowed it, the players allowed it, everybody's complicit in it. Those who haven't stood against it have been complicit complicit in this action. And that's the way this shit works. Whether or not you do anything is what matters. And all the players have accepted this. So for all intents and purposes, they're okay with it. Now, I'm all for giving what is the equality or whatever. I'm all for that. But we can't celebrate mediocrity in this country. We can't allow things as trivial as a kicker to be something that is celebrated. We don't even need to address how horrifying the kickoff was. The bottom line is this: if we're going to celebrate this girl getting on the football field and actually participating in the football game, then she needs to play a real position, a position that men play. Because everyone that plays football knows that the kicker is the most insulated position on the field. It is the weakest dude on that roster most of the time. Most of the time, that's all that person can do is kick. So to celebrate a young woman playing in a D1 football game in a losing effort on a losing team, to celebrate that as some sort of success is just like celebrating and propping up this retarded kid that ran the first touchdown in my grandson's pee-wee football game, telling that kid that he can actually go do something. Because in the NFL, in any real situation where the kicker is actually part of the team, that girl get annihilated. You notice she kicked the ball and ran off the football field. She didn't go down to try to make a tackle. And it was probably agreed that they would fall on that squib kick and let it be a success. They were already whooping their ass 41-0. Why try anymore? And that's what we've done in our society. To vault women up, we've got to open up a hole like a retarded kid on the opening game of a football game, opening play. That's the only way women can boast and brag about being able to do the things that men do is because we allow them to do these things and we celebrate it. And again, I'm not against women pursuing things that they really want to do, but invading male spaces and high-fiving and celebrating one another and yourself for doing minuscule, the bare minimum of shit and not doing it very well, that's not a good look for the nation, especially when the agenda is to belittle and emasculate real men. This girl has a position on a football team instead of a male, and so granted, it's a victory for her and all the little girls who aspire to invade male spaces. The truth of the matter is, you will not find a female that can play linebacker, cornerback, safety, running back in any respectable football program. The moment she gets hit, or the moment she gets run over, the moment real contact happens, well, that's when the reality sets in. And instead of pretending like this is this great triumph, we need to really call bullshit. We really need to call it for what it is. Because telling young girls that they can do whatever they want to do, invading male spaces, and not pushing it all the way. Again, if that's what you want to do it. But do it for real. If we're going to do this, if we're going to play this game, if we're going to tell this lie, then let's do this. Let's remove the sexist, so there's no more WNBA, NBA. The women have to qualify to play against the men. We're not going to dumb down the rules. We're not going to bring down the goal. It's going to be the NBA because it doesn't matter, right? Let's do the same in MMA. No more men's and women's categories. We'll just go by weight class, and a 160-pound woman can bang against a 160-pound man who cuts himself down from 200 pounds. That would be catastrophic. Even a woman who's gone through transition, Fallon Fox, is a threat, taking hormones and becoming a woman after being a man. She destroys the faces of women. She destroys these women. Nobody wants to fight him. Why? Because it's not fucking equal. It's not the same. And what we're doing in this country right now, what we're allowing to happen, is we're allowing the feminist movement, the female imperative, to overpower logic and reason. Boys are becoming very, very feminine. Men are becoming weak and beaten down. And at every turn, society is telling us to be weaker, to submit some more, and vault women into this position where they're really not capable of handling it. Women are not ready to be superheroes. And if and when this country falls, and she looks like she's going to, these empowered women are going to scramble to find real men. And that's what this channel is for, is to sharpen real men. Men, whenever children are acting a fool, whenever a kid is acting up, you have options. If you're primitive, you can whoop their ass and beat them into submission. Or you can put them in timeout, which only creates Antifa kids. Or you can simply take away the things that they value the most and ignore their cries. That's what men need to do with women today. Red pill, blue pill, black pill, brown pill, purple pill, it doesn't matter. Men need to tribe together. There's going to be differences. MGTOW, red pill, all men are going to be different. That's what we are. It's who we are. It's what we do. But the fundamental thing that we need to keep focus on is the value of being men. We have to be men again. And how do you do that? You go against the narrative that's being preached. You walk against the grain. Take off the skinny jeans and man buns and all the feminine attributes that have been propagated by media and society. Become men. Learn how to get your hands dirty. Quit worrying about calluses on your hands and go get some. Men have got to be men because the barbarian is at the gate. What we're watching in our country, around the world today, is bigger than anything that you can possibly imagine. And when the curtain gets pulled back, real men are going to have to rise.